Good morning, Mafia Moms, and I hope today will be a fabulous day for you. First of all, I want to welcome the new members to the page. Thank you for liking the page. Please don't just be a lurker. Comment, post. Let's hear from you. We're here to hear from each other and learn from each other. And please sign up for the blog so you don't miss an article. And again, have lots of stuff in store. But why am I here this morning? It so happens that last night I was inboxed a question. I was asked, how do I feel about corporal punishment, especially in school? Well, yes, being a typical Caribbean woman, I was all for corporal punishment. And I guess that's because I think my mom spanked me all of 3 times in all my life. My dad never laid a hand on me. And they were spankings, that sort of thing, not beatings. And I think once I got spanked with a brush, and it was out of pure frustration because she couldn't find me for hours on end. And when she did, out of frustration and worry, she grabbed the brush, put me over her knee, and gave it to my bottom. So, but as I get older and I think about it, I know that I have kids. No, I'm not for corporal punishment. I don't think they do what people think they should do. What they do is instill fear. And I don't know if I want my children to be afraid of me. I want them to respect me. 2 different things. And why the schools that my boys go to, the prep school, I remember every year as they move up in a class, I'd ask, what is the school stance on corporal punishment? Because I'd hear stories. And of course they says, well, by law we can't, and whatever. And whenever I bring that up and I say I don't want any teachers touching my child, oh, I'd get jumped on by other parents. Them forget beaten, whatever. And I just say no. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. You do with your child what you think is fit. I will do with my child. Now, with all the parents who have jumped on me, only one took the time to ask me why I took that stance. And here's the reason why. I was abused physically by a teacher when I was in prep school, when I was in grade 4. I can't remember her name, but I remember her face. I remember what she looked like. This was in the 70s. She wore a low afro and she was pregnant. And I couldn't do anything. I was not a bad child or a bad student. I was chatty. I can tell you on every single report, Francine does well, Francine does this, but she talks too much. And I think that's something teachers need to get over. Children talk, and talking has helped me. I've earned a living from talking, so it's not a bad thing. Again, we are supposed to be guiding children, so what I needed was guidance, and I got that as I got older. But yeah, this teacher just had it out for me. The slightest thing, she would hit me. And in those days they had, I don't know if they still have them, these wooden rulers with a metal tip along one side, and that teacher would use that and hit me on my knuckles, the metal part. She would slap me and stuff like that. So I'd come home with bruises, and my mom would go to the school, talk to the principal, and of course the principals, they take up for the teachers, and it was never resolved. And it's one day when I came home with my knuckles all 10 swollen, my fingers cut and bruised, my mother said enough, because not only was this teacher abusing me, but it affected my grades. My grades dropped tremendously. And so my mother came to the school, and it would have been one of those on the news report that said, a parent attacked a teacher at school. Sometimes we jump and want to say what is going on. But sometimes these teachers, man, I can tell you that. But when my mother saw that she was pregnant, she left her alone and she moved me from the school. And that was the best thing ever. Was it? Well, kind of. My grades went back up. I did well after that. But that is my reason for not wanting any teacher to put a hand on my child. I am an accessible parent, and I tell every teacher, any problems you have with my child, you call me. Here is my number. I'm right there. I am there sitting with the teacher and saying, how do we discipline my son if he has misbehaved or done something that deserves discipline? And I believe in what happens at school carries home. So he doesn't get punished at school, and when him come home, it's free for all. No, not that. So I work with the teachers. And even with that, there was a teacher that one day colored, as we Jamaicans said, drape up my, at the time, 9-year-old. And for what? You think he was being really rude or disrespectful, right? No. She made a comment about something he was drawing. And he looked at her and said, but why would you say that? And that was a big deal, because according to her, his tone and the way he said it, you know, as adults, we need to get over that. They're children, and he was quite right in what he said, because she was, I think, a little wrong with what she said to him in describing what he was doing. And she took, and to show you that she knew what she was doing wrong, she took him outside the class and collared him and was in his face. Don't you dare speak to me like that again. And I know it's true because another teacher saw her and actually went up to her and said, you can't do that. And when I approached her, she lied and said, no, maybe he misunderstood, I didn't. But anyway, I listened to her and reminded her that I'm a very accessible parent. You can talk to me. And I gently laid my hand on her shoulder and went close to her ear and let her know, if something like this happens again, I won't be so nice about it. So yeah, I don't want anyone else disciplining my child, because teachers have their own stress, have things at home they're dealing with, and they come and they take it out on your children or our children. So I'm not for corporal punishment. And even with us as parents, we need to look at ourselves. Why do we spank? It's out of frustration. Let's be honest. We're frustrated. We don't know what to do, so we spank. On top of that, we grow up believing that spanking is okay. But there are really so many other ways to discipline your child. Remember, discipline comes from the words disciple. And let's think about what that means. Are we making our children disciples? Are we leading them? Are we guiding them? And creating fear, because that's what we do when we spank and threaten. We are creating fear. And for me personally, that's what they did to us slaves back then. And I don't want to make my child a slave. I want to help them to be the best human being they can be. So that's my stance on corporal punishment. Please put in the comments your thoughts, what you believe, and how you deal with punishing or disciplining your child. Have a great day.